Greetings. Welcome to TheQueenElle LLC. I am Queen Elle. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am a spiritualist and owner of TheQueenElle LLC. I have a shop on Etsy that will be linked in the description box. I also have a blog, queenelle.net, as well as planners available for purchase on Amazon. So this video starts my astrology series. I will post monthly videos with regard to astrology, and for this video we will talk about planets as the title suggests. This is potentially a 3-part series. It may be a 2-part series depending on how far along we get. I don't want to hold you for too long. So if you see me glancing off screen, that is me checking my notes just to stay on track. I took notes for all of the planets. So I would like to get started, and we'll discuss the energy that the planets bring, as well as which zodiac signs and which houses in your chart that these planets rule or lend the most energy toward. And it's based off of how the planets affect us. So if you're not familiar with how planets affect us as spiritual beings here on Earth, just think about your sun sign. So your sun zodiac sign is traditionally what people just consider as their zodiac sign. So if someone says, "What's your sign?" that is your sun sign. That is where the sun was when you were born, down to the minute. When you think about the other planets were also in a specific place when you were born. And we will talk about our birth charts in a separate video, and I'll go into specifics on how you can find out your birth chart, which is very simple, as well as how your birth chart affects who you are today and how you can use your birth chart today. So again, another video for another time. So let's talk about the planets today. And we'll get started with the planets that are closest to the sun. If you hear any chatter in the background, that is my little one. So the first planet we'll talk about today is one that is widely recognized and discussed quite often because it has a shorter orbit around the sun, and that is Mercury. Mercury is all about communication. It is a fiery, hot sign, as you can, or hot planet, as you can suspect, because of it being so close to the sun. But that just means it's very powerful as well. So like I said, it's the planet of communication. What we hear about most often is Mercury retrograde, which means that Mercury is going in reverse in its orbit. So if it's typically moving around its orbit like this, when it's in retrograde, it stops and it goes in reverse. And then at some point it goes back direct and it goes the typical way around its orbit. So all of the planets have retrogrades, but Mercury has the ones that are most widely recognized, as well as the most common because of the orbit being so short in relation to other planets. So like I said, Mercury is all about communication, and it rules the zodiac signs Gemini and Virgo. Also, Mercury rules the 3rd house and the 6th house in your natal chart. Now, our charts have 12 houses, just like there are 12 zodiac signs. So the 3rd house is all about communication. It's all about self-expression. And whenever there's any type of conflict or breakdown in that house, or anytime Mercury, again, is in retrograde, then that's where you'll find a breakdown in communication. And that could be in a personal or in a professional relationship. The 6th house is all about health and service. It's all about our interaction with others as well. And again, it's lending to the communication piece. So like I said, Mercury is fast-paced, it is high energy, and it's all about communication. So there are different transits. Sometimes the planets have different transits that are in relation with each other, and we'll talk about that in a separate video. So they can be in conjunct with each other, which is they are affecting or impacting each other, but sometimes in like a clashing sort of way. Sometimes they are square with each other. That's another way that I don't like to use the word negative, but that's another way that they can directly impact each other. So we'll discuss that in future videos, but just know that Mercury is very fast paced and high energy. We actually had a Mercury retrograde recently, and it just went direct close to the time of this video. The next planet is Venus. Venus is all about love. We know about that. Love as well as our relationships. Venus governs pleasure, as you can expect with it being all about love. Venus is all about sensuality. Venus is about a feminine energy. Now, when we say feminine and masculine, we're not saying male or female, or it has really nothing to do with gender. We all possess feminine and masculine energy. So just know that Venus is more the feminine energy. Also, Venus rules Taurus and Libra. Venus rules the second house, which is all about our possessions, both financial and emotional possessions, as well as the seventh house, which is all about marriage and partnership. Again, it's because of it being such a love force, you know. Now, there are drawbacks as well as benefits with regard to the energy that Venus can bring, because for instance, when Venus is in retrograde, there could be a breakdown with regard to our loving relationships, and that can be with partnerships, it could be with a friend in a friendship, or in a romantic relationship. So it's nothing to be afraid of or to steer clear of whenever there are retrogrades. It's just about being aware of the energy, so that if you are faced with any sort of conflict, then you're aware of what could be going on, and you're more informed about how to navigate different situations as they arise. So the next planet we'll discuss is Mars. Now, Mars is all about physical energy. Mars is a planet of passion. Mars is the red planet, and so it has a fiery sort of energy. Also, Mars governs your will and your actions. Like I said, it's a very energetic planet with regard to physical energy. There's a strong, powerful presence that Mars brings, and it encourages you to face challenges head on. There is also sexual energy that is governed by Mars, again, because it's about physical energy, right? Also, Mars rules Aries and Scorpio. And Mars rules the first house, which is about yourself, your personality traits, traits that are projected towards others, as well as the eighth house, which is about regeneration and rebirth, including death. Mars goes into retrograde from time to time, and when Mars does go into retrograde, there could be some type of breakdown with regard to our energy that we put out into the world. We can feel a lack of energy depending on what zodiac sign Mars is in when it goes into retrograde, as well as our physical interaction with others. There may feel like a blockage whenever there's some sort of retrograde with Mars. I feel like that's a good stopping point here with regard to this series talking about the planets. Like I said, in future videos, I will discuss the houses that are in our natal or birth chart, just to help you to understand how houses affect us in our daily lives, what it all means. I'm looking forward to informing you about all of that. Thank you so much for joining me today. Peace. Ashe.